Next, we will discuss about terminologies used in programming languages. Source code. Developer written program, it is written according to the programming language syntax is called a source code. And compiled code. What is compiled code? Compiler generated program that is converted from source code is called a compiled code. Compiler. It is a translation program that converts source code into machine language at once. What is interpreter? It is also a translation program that converts source code into machine language but line by line. Executable code. OS understandable, readily executable program or executable codes. .exe files are executable codes. Next, compilation. It is a process of translating source code into compiled code. Next, execution. It is a process of running compiled code to get output. What is a platform? A platform is an environment in which a program is loaded and executed. A platform can be software only or hardware only platform or both. Computer platform is both software and hardware platform. It is OS and hardware devices. What is meant by platform dependent application? An application that is compiled in one operating system, if it is not running in different operating system, then that application is called platform dependent application. The programming language that is used to develop this application is called platform dependent programming language. C language and C++ programming languages are platform dependent programming languages because these languages program compiled code does not run in different OS. If a program is directly executed by OS, then that program and programming language is platform dependent. What is meant by platform independent application? If the application's compiled code is able to run in different operating system, then that application is called platform independent application. Java is a platform independent programming language because Java program compiled code can run in all operating systems. If a program is not directly executed by OS, rather if it is executed by an intermediate layer software like JVM, CLR, browser, then that program and programming language is called platform independent. Why C and C++ languages are platform dependent? C programs are compiled targeting to one OS. Hence, C programs compiled code is directly machine language of one OS, whose format is not understandable to another OS. Therefore, C programs compiled code cannot be executed in different OS. Hence, they are platform dependent. We will see an explanation by using a diagram. What is how C and C++ programs are compiled and executed. For example, I'm having three systems. This is my Windows operating system. This is my Linux operating system. This is my Solaris operating system. Solaris OS. So we have three different operating systems. We have three different operating systems. So we have written a program in Windows OS by using C language. If we have developed a program by using C language in Windows OS, this program cannot be executed in if the same program is if you want to execute C language program in Linux OS, it is not possible because Linux OS is different from Windows OS. And we have Solaris OS. In Solaris OS, if you want to execute C language related program, it is not executed, it is not compiled and executed in Solaris OS because the C language program which we have written is dependent to Windows OS. It's dependent to Windows OS. That's the reason our C language program is executed in Windows OS. When it comes to Linux OS, Linux OS is different from C language. That's why this program is not executed in Linux OS. Next we have Solaris operating system. C language program is not compiled and executed in Solaris OS because Solaris OS is different. Because Solaris OS is different from Windows OS. This is the reason C language is platform. This is the reason C language programs are platform dependent. This is the reason C language programs are platform dependent because it is executed in only Windows OS. It is not executed in Linux OS and Solaris OS. So we will get a doubt like why we should execute our program in Linux OS or Solaris OS. You will get a doubt. We will discuss about this. Why to execute my programs or code in different operating systems. Some people may have doubt why to execute their programs in different operating systems. We will discuss about this. Mostly in companies, whenever a project is developed by a team. Development process will be done in Windows OS. But whatever the testing and development DevOps team, they will use Linux or Solaris OS to test the application or to handle the dependency issues. They will use Linux OS or Solaris OS. They will not use Windows OS. The reason is Linux OS and Solaris OS will give the best performance for programming. Windows OS is also best but for usage. But Linux OS and Solaris OS will give good performance for executing the programs for fast execution. That's the reason testing team and DevOps team will use Linux OS or Solaris OS. And one more reason is our development process and our source code we will be written in Windows OS. But after DevOps team and testing team, our website or project will be shifted to production. Production means nothing but a live. When our application or website is in live in real world, we have to put our application in any server or cloud computing. When it comes to cloud computing, most of the cloud computing 99% they will use Linux OS or Solaris OS because Linux OS and Solaris OS will give best performance if they for server technologies. Mostly application will be hosted in Linux OS or Solaris OS. That's the reason we cannot use platform dependent languages to develop a application. This is the main reason Java is became more demanding language and popular language because Java is a platform independent language. We will make a note about this, what we have discussed. We write our source code in Windows OS, but after developing source code, the process will move from development phase to DevOps team and testing team. Testing team, they will test our application has load testing or performance testing. Everything testing will be done by testing team in all the companies. And DevOps team is nothing but they will be working on integration, like application should move from development phase to testing phase to production to cloud environment. All these integrations, like combining all these phases into a single unit, those process is done by DevOps team. We will discuss in further classes briefly. So mostly DevOps and testing team, they will use Linux or Solaris operating system because Linux or Solaris OS will give good performance for testing and hosting cloud hosting application into Production. Production is nothing but a application is live to real world. So why to execute my programs or code in different OS? We write our source code in Windows OS, but after developing source code, the process will move from development phase to DevOps team and testing team. So mostly DevOps and testing team, they will use Linux or OS because Linux or OS will give good performance for testing and hosting application into production. This is the reason everyone want to go for platform independent programming language. This is the reason Java became most demanding programming language till now. This is the reason people, this is the reason Java is in more demand because our Java programs will run and execute in all operating systems because of a JVM software which will be available in every operating systems. So this is the reason here. Next we will discuss about how Java achieved platform independency. Java achieved platform independency by moving machine language generation from compilation phase to execution phase by introducing bytecode and JVM. Compared to C language, in Java, machine language is generated targeting to client OS. For generating machine language targeting to client OS, we must move machine language generation from compilation phase to execution phase. Because client OS information is known at the time of program execution. When program is loaded into client OS system, hence in Java, Java program is compiled into an intermediate code called bytecode. Later this bytecode is translated into machine language of client OS in client system by JVM. We will see what is that. For example, I am having a C program, C language program. If I want to execute my program in my computer, directly it is compiled and executed in operating system because C language program is dependent to my Windows OS. That's why it is directly compiled and executed in OS. But when we go to Java, Java is a platform independent application. Java application should run in all operating system. So how Java program is running in all operating system? We will discuss about that. For example, this is my Java language program. This is my Java language program, and I am having different OS. This is Windows operating system, and the other is Linux operating system, and we have Solaris operating system. Java program should execute in Windows. Java language program should execute in Windows operating system, Linux operating system, and also Solaris operating system. To execute a C language program, directly we can compile and execute in operating system because our C language program is dependent to our Windows OS and it is understandable to our machine language. But when we come to Windows OS and Linux OS and Solaris OS, our Java program should be understandable to Windows OS and Linux OS and Solaris OS. If we do compilation and execution both in Windows OS, that cannot be understandable to Linux OS and that cannot be understandable to Solaris OS. That's the reason compilation is done in one OS, but execution process will done in different operating systems. For example, this Java language program I have compiled in Windows OS. When I did a compilation, after compiling my code, a bytecode is generated and that bytecode is understandable to all operating systems. After compiling my code in Windows OS, a bytecode is generated. And that bytecode is understandable to Windows OS and Linux OS and Solaris OS. Bytecode is understandable to all operating systems. Then in different operating systems, we will be having JVM, Java Virtual Machine, JVM. What this JVM will do in operating system? All these JVMs are dependent to their operating system. Windows JVM is dependent to Windows operating system, and Linux JVM is dependent to Linux operating system, and Solaris operating is dependent to JVM. JVM is dependent of Solaris operating system. That's the reason when bytecode is generated, our JVM will convert this bytecode into our JVM will convert bytecode into the operating system which is executed in that OS. When bytecode is executed by using JVM in Windows operating system, it will generate the code which is understandable to Windows OS. Bytecode when is executed in Linux OS, JVM will generate a machine language understandable code, will convert our bytecode into machine language understandable code that is understandable to Linux. And our bytecode when is executed in JVM, this JVM will convert our bytecode into machine language that is understandable to Solaris OS. That's the reason our Java is a platform independent. Bytecode is an intermediate code to all operating systems, and it is a native language to JVM. JVM is a translated software. It is a Java platform. It is responsible to execute Java bytecode by translating it into machine language of current operating system. For executing compiled Java program in all operating systems, it's not some, it's a Sun. SUN. Sun is nothing but a Sun Microsystems company. Java is developed by Sun Microsystems. Hence, one-time compiled Java program can execute under any operating system with the help of JVM. Hence, Java achieved platform independency. Note: in C language, machine language is generated in the compilation phase itself. While because C program is standalone, the system in which we compiled program in the same system or same operating system we can execute. Whereas Java is meant for developing internet application, so program is compiled in one OS and executed in different operating systems. Therefore, we must generate machine language specific to program in which we are running the program. Conclusion: Java slogan: Ora. Ora is nothing but write once, run anywhere. Compiler is responsible to take Java source code, convert it into bytecode, and saving this bytecode in a separate new file called .class file. .class extension with class name has file name. JVM is responsible to take Java bytecode, execute this bytecode by converting it into current OS machine language. After execution completed, generated machine language is destroyed. Java supports only two extension files, .java, which is our source code, and .class, which is bytecode. In Java, we do not have a file with machine language code. Java does not support .exe files because of security reason point of view. And moreover, always compiled code is downloaded from server. Machine language code saved in client computer is useless. Java compiler is OS independent because both input and output files, source code and bytecode are Java related files. JVM is OS dependent because it should generate OS dependent machine language from the given bytecode. Java software contains compiler, JVM and API. Compiler is a platform dependent because it will generate a bytecode which is understandable to every OS. JVM is a platform dependent because Windows OS will be having separate JVM which is related to Windows machine language, and Linux operating system will be having Linux related JVM. So different operating systems will have different JVMs. That JVM will execute our bytecode, and that JVM will convert our bytecode into machine language which is understandable to that operating system. Our APIs, which is nothing but our predefined classes and modules, are also platform independent. Java software is platform dependent because JVM is platform dependent because Java software is platform dependent. We have we will have separate Java software for every OS. Hence, based on our system OS and processor, we must download and install Java software. Java program is platform independent and Java software is platform dependent, both because of JVM. Java program is platform independent because JVM is available in every OS, so Java program can be executed in all operating systems. Java software is platform dependent because we have separate JVM for every OS. So the same Java software cannot be installed in all operating systems. For all operating systems, JVM is developed by Sun Microsystems and now it is acquired by Oracle, but not by OS vendors. So JVM will not be installed inbuilt along with OS installation. We must install JVM explicitly in our computer after OS installing. Programmer is responsible for developing, compiling and executing a Java program. Customer client is responsible for only executing Java program. Based on programmer and customer responsibilities, Java software is divided into two types. Types of Java softwares. Java software is divided into two types, which is JDK and JRE. So to compile and to execute code, we have to install JDK. Just to execute a program, JRE is more than enough to execute a Java program.